Some things don't hold up, do they? But we like them at the time, and that's fine. But that's good. But I'm not going to dwell on the persons who said no. I'm not going to dwell on that so much. Like a lesser person might be like, right, who the fuck was that? Hands up. Who said no? But I'm not that person. I'm not that person. I'm bigger than that. So I'm just going to let it slide. I'm just going to let it slide. I'm not even going to think about it anymore. Like a different person would probably like be really dwelling on it. But I don't care at all. I just don't. Who the hell was that anyway? Right. Is that a fairly new Matrix game? I didn't know that existed actually. Right, I love these pieces. I love them. I'm putting them on. It's almost 20 years old. Right, there you go. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense to me now. Yeah, like a new Matrix game? What? Why? PS2? Okay, you know, I might have played that one. Leftover. I'm going to put the spanner in the leftover pile. Let's see how he fits. He fits pretty well, actually. Thanks for the follow. End of stream. End stream fag now. That's a fucking... What the fuck? Who makes an account like that? They've actually gone to the trouble of making that account. But it's a common problem in the transgender community. Substance abuse and alcoholism. You know what? Because our lives aren't always that easy. In fact, the general rule is our lives are not easy. Even mine, believe it or not. Felix says, I'm currently in the process. She is totally unable to accept more than 2 weeks with me at a time. Not sure what. It's a metaphor, but I don't know what for. Oh, I messed it up. I messed that up. Shit. Did I? What have I... Right, I've messed something up. Oh. Yeah, I just like to get in a bath with mashed potatoes and then you squirt the tomato ketchup on. We are live and my head is behind you. Hold on, let's just move that a bit so that I have some space. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? And down a bit. So, hello, Catriel. Say something. Can we hear you?
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
we can hear you.
Hi, can I be heard? Am I here?
I can hear you. Can everyone hear Catriel okay? Is the volume okay? Let me know if the levels are bad or good or audio is good. Amazing. Look at this. Look at chat. It's bopping. Or is that the word that I'm supposed to use? I don't know. It's all going off in the chat. Welcome to Catriel. We are going to obviously kind of dip in and out of chat. Gosh, look at all these people. Hello, Bimini. How you doing? We've got End of Fire, Studio. Sandra, hello. Ooh, you're in my chat as well. How nice. You're always welcome in my chat box. Another thing. So a few points of order maybe. The first one is that we can swear. Yay! Second point of order is that I should probably put some music on because there's normally music. Hold on. Right, I forgot about that. Welcome to Transbricks.
A couple of people said I'm a bit quiet.
Oh, you're a bit quiet. Cool. Well, that's the third thing that we'll do. We'll sort that out. Hopefully. I'll change a slider somewhere. But first, I'm just going to get some music. Why is my music gone? No, my music's gone. Okay, fine. Let's just grab that. We've got an ad break starting in 1 minute. So hopefully by the end of the ad break, we'll have a working stream. We can only hope. Where is it? It's here we go. Here we go. This is the music.
Struggling to concentrate with
no, that's
background
an
noise.
advert. That's an advert.
Yeah, and as someone who I recommended your a stream to a while ago
Cool.
because he's super into Lego. So as soon as he told me, I was like, watch out. During the year that I liked you.
Year that you... Okay, now I'm going to do your volume because I've got the music, and hopefully the music's okay. This is just an exercise in changing levels because I don't know why I can never get them right to start with, but they just never are. Guest, where's my guest? Guest, there you go. So apparently you're at the full volume, but I think I can kind of boost you. So if I go to advanced properties.
Try and boost my side a little bit. How's that?
Oh yeah, maybe that's a better idea. If you can boost your stuff.
Yeah, I think I'll double check settings here as well. But
because I'm looking at your bar and it's definitely not hitting the red. It's barely hitting the yellow, honestly.
oh, I had like noise suppression and echo cancellation on twice. How does that sound?
Maybe better. Chat, how is that? I'm not the best person to ask because my audio monitoring capabilities are poor to mid at best. Better, here we go. Better, I think. Let us know if you do have issues, if you want us to fiddle. We can fiddle, we can do fiddling, can't we, for a little while, but hopefully not too long. How are you doing, Catrell? How's your Sunday today?
Yeah, it's all right. I've been awake for the entirety of my Sunday, unfortunately, but we vibing.
Now, does that mean you started the Sunday before 12 o'clock?
I think I was awake at about 2 a.m., but...
That's a long day. Are you going to go to... So you've got a sleep issue, haven't you? You've got a bit of a sleep thing.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Like, I might sleep after this. I might be awake for another 12 hours after we finish. We'll see.
It's cool. I mean, I'm in a similar boat. Not the same. I got about 3.5 hours sleep on Friday night, and then went to another party last night and I got home. I don't know. It was just after midnight, maybe, but I just couldn't sleep. My mind was racing. So yeah, I'm low on sleep. Sleep is very important, and I just don't seem to ever get enough of it. But never mind. So I hope you're having a nice Sunday anyway. Here, it's beautiful sunshine and about minus 15 degrees Celsius.
That's a combination.
That's a combination, all right. And I don't even have skis. That would be good for skiing, actually, but I don't have skis. I didn't bring them. So anyway, Catrell, would you like to kind of just really, really briefly introduce yourself to all my beautiful viewers in chat?
Sure. Hi, I am Catriel on Twitch and a couple of other places. You may find me as Catriel Bun. I've been a streamer for about 5 years, but I've been on a bit of a break from streaming for about 3 months now, because I kind of burnt myself out a little bit.
That happens, doesn't it? I've heard about people kind of getting burnt out on Twitch. Like they maybe tried to do
really
too
bad
much.
Habit of it.
Right.
Yeah, that was my issue.
Yeah, right.
And it's funny because I was only really hosting streams from my channel for 6 months before that, once a month, but there was so much oh, that's not supposed to happen.
You get follower notifications. Cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize I still had those on. It's also playing noise at me and it shouldn't be. I was only doing like one big stream a month, and then I was guesting on others because I was part of a stream team where we'd be on a different person's stream every week.
Oh, cool.
The issue was it was the amount of time off stream I was spending developing what was going on stream. So about 9 months of streams monthly actually had about 500 to 1,000 hours of work in the background on them.
Wow.
I was trying to really min-max my stream
That's like a full job, that, isn't it? That's a full-time job. Gosh.
And when it's not paying either, yeah, you're gonna burn out quick.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the idea obviously is by investing time and effort and probably money as well into your stream, you're hoping that eventually you'll kind of get a line that kind of exponentially takes off. You'll have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers, and you'll be getting, gold-plated helicopters delivered to your door and things like that. But unfortunately, the reality is that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, it's all a combination of luck and creating the opportunity for luck. If you're not putting the work in to create the opportunity for luck, you've got to be incredibly lucky, impossibly lucky. And even if you are putting in every bit of effort, there's still a lot of luck involved. So
yeah, never underestimate the power of luck. You can have an amazing product, you can have, something that's unique and really special, and you can tick all the boxes, but at the end of the day, if you haven't got a nice, healthy wodge of luck in there as well, but then again, you just need to keep playing the game, so you just kind of need to stick at it, and you need to kind of practice self-care and understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And just keep on plugging away, because every time, all the time that you're doing it, you're increasing your chances of having success. And this isn't just in Twitch, this is in all sorts of areas of life. If you stick at things, if you can keep going at it and believe that what you've got, in whatever form that is kind of valuable, eventually you hopefully will get some kind of luck. That's my experience.
I think switching to the bot development as well as men, even though I've not been streaming, I've been gaining followers at the same rate as when I was streaming.
Oh, that's cool.
So although I'm not on stream for there to be subscribers and stuff, honestly, the amount of money that was coming in subscriber wise was fairly negligible anyway.
Yeah.
There was plenty of months that I wasn't hitting payout thresholds.
Sure.
So as far as my growth and my presence and my influence is concerned, I've not actually lost anything since stopping streaming. It's just given me a break. And I think that's actually a really good position to be in, to be able to take a big mental health break. And yet I'll still jump into Discord and go and chat with all of the same people that I was chatting with, and I still hop around streams and spend time enjoying myself. So for the 40 to 60 pounds a month that I was getting from streaming, for the amount of stress I have saved, and then building a bot, which might be more of a passive income thing that I don't have to put constant time into,
which is the dream.
Done.
Yeah, so tell us about your bot.
Exactly.
Because it is quite interesting. I remember you telling us about it in my last stream, I think, was it? And it sounded fascinating. I'm not entirely sure I understood it, although I think I got the general gist, maybe, but just tell us what it is.
If you were comfortable bringing the bot in here, we could give a bit of a demo. But essentially what the bot does, literally, if you've ever seen the meme of you can't say treat around someone because they're immediately treat, and you then have to tell them that there's no treat. That's what it's based off of.
Okay.
So literally whenever someone says the word treat, the bot will 36 out of 37 times say no treat.
Okay.
But the remaining one time there will actually give you a treat, and it'll keep it on a leaderboard. And 1 in 370 times it'll be a shiny treat. People get very hyped when that happens, and it's purely just manufactured scarcity, right?
Yeah, of course.
Lessons from capitalism. It's just been slowly developing that so that it's as fun for people as possible, and trying to keep it a bit competitive. It was a Discord bot nearly a year ago that I put together in one evening.
Wow.
So the way this actually developed was, in the first place, it was just a stream elements command, and when you type treat, it just said no treat. That was it. And there's a few people that I moderate for, and I'll just fuck about with a few commands in there and see how people respond to them. And one of them was that, and I kept on messing with it. And then he said to me, "Does it sometimes give you a treat?" And I was like, I bet I can make it. So the reason why it's actually a 1 in 37 chance of a treat is because that was the worst odds that I could actually do in a single message, by having to copy it so many times, because Stream Elements doesn't let you weight a randomized chance, so you have to just copy no treat multiple times to increase the chances of that happening.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
And so I just stuck with those odds, and it's been that way forever. And it actually seems to be the perfect number to be a great balance of frustrating and not frustrating.
Okay. Yes, I'm sold. I'm sold.
Rewarding.
Let's get the treat bot in. How do I do it? Tell me what I need to do, and we'll.
So if you go to the page for Gimme Treat, just go into her chat and just put in !join. There's
Right,
a
hold
bunch
on.
of.
Where am I finding her? Where am I finding the bot? First
I
question.
mean, she isn't guest star with you, so.
Guess so.
You can actually find her at the bottom of your stream.
Hold on, I've got a pop. Oh right, no, I had a pop up. It was hiding it. Right, here we go. So give me a treat. So
So in her chat, just do !join, and she'll jump right in here.
okay. So exclamation point on that. I see.
If you ever find that she gets spammed too much, you can set custom rate limits and things. I've tried to consider everything I can to keep it fun in everyone's environments as well. She can have explicit language. You can block explicit language in your channel as well.
So did that work? No. Oh yeah. Did that work?
No, she doesn't seem to be in here. No, so you have to be like in her chat specifically.
Okay. So just talk me really. So treat me like I'm a 5-year-old who has no idea what she's doing, because that's basically the situation. Where am I finding her chat? On the on the Twitch website, yeah.
Yeah, on the Twitch website. I can just link you directly to the pop-out chat.
Thank you.
Well, can I post links in your chat?
Yes, you can. Yep, that's fine.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you. That's what I needed.
That should work.
Yeah. No, you just got to make these things as easy as possible for me. I'm extremely stupid whilst at the same time being incredibly smart.
Like I can with consent put her into channels myself, but it's actually like database editing, so it's fairly complicated to get her in here without permission.
Okay, so now that I'm in her chat, now I type in join.
Yeah, exclamation point join.
Just join. Here we go. So now they've joined the channel, Chanspix. So now I need to make them a mod in my chat.
There we go.
Is that right?
Yeah, if you make it a mod, it tends to work a little bit better, just because mods have different rate limits, and she's still unverified. She's not got enough usage yet for me to just get her verified, but we're up to, I think, about 35, 36 streamers using her now.
Oh, wow. So it'll happen. So to make her a mod, how do I do it? Do I just type in, oh, I see, mod, /mod.
/mod, and then give me treat. Mod isn't totally necessary, but the main issue that you get with her not being mod is you can't send the exact same message twice within 30 seconds on Twitch unless you're a mod. And sometimes she ends up replying with the same thing to people who do it twice within 30 seconds.
Okay. Cool. Right. So we should have the Gimme Treat bot in the chat. And look, it's actually talking to. So do we say it on the stream, or is it only in chat?
It's only in chat.
Yeah, no, it's not. It doesn't.
She's not like watching the stream.
She's not hearing it. No, okay.
No, that'd take a fair bit more processing power.
Yeah.
And she would be having to do that in multiple streams at once. It's not impossible.
No,
but it's a lot more expensive.
Don't worry about it. I'm not trying to add features for you. This is what it does, and this is fine. It's like I'm just understanding what it does.
I mean, there's certainly ways I can do that, but it involves like having to make OBS extensions and things so that I don't have to take all the processing power of everyone's streams.
Right, I'm gonna try it. So I just type in treat to get a treat, hopefully. No treat? How rude. I'm the streamer, come on. I should have like special privileges here.
But she has like 3 types of leaderboards that we call the treater boards.
Okay.
So, I mean, you won't have one for your own now, but if you put in like treater board, it'll tell you what's going on like in the channel that you're currently in.
That's so cool. I like it.
She also has like the global leaderboard, so you can see how many everyone's got.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
And then you also have like a team one, which is a combination of like all of the channels. So that's specifically how many people have treats in each streamer's chat, you know. So like Cutesy Cat, who's in first place, she's got most of those treats in Oracle's. So Oracle has
I see.
456 in her channel, which I did the math. and on average, that's over 25,000 triggers of the bot.
Wow, that's quite a lot. Yeah, cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
And this all just runs off of a mini PC that fits in my hand.
Yeah.
And that PC's got enough processing power to run a lot of these bots, actually.
Okay, so tell me about your process, because would you describe yourself as a developer or a programmer, or what would you call yourself?
I don't know quite what I am. All I know is, like, if development is magic, I
Don't we
am
all?
more of a sorceress than a witch, right? I don't understand what I'm doing. I just kind of feel it out and make it work eventually.
You just do the incantations and the things happen.
Yeah, I know not with what magics I am harnessing. All I know is the sparks go poof when I wave the hand.
That
right?
sounds kind of dangerous, honestly. That sounds like it could be, things could happen that you won't know how to. Once you've summoned stuff you don't want to summon, things are very difficult to put back.
I am security conscious, at least, and that's like where the main worry is. If you don't know what you're doing with coding stuff, right? Is you don't want to leave a gaping hole for somebody to attack whatever you're making.
No one likes gaping holes in this channel.
Oh, well, I'll visit another town then. But
Thank you.
Yeah, it's.
Thank you, Sherry.
I'm using a lot of AI, a hell of a lot of AI.
Oh yeah, okay.
And this is a
So,
it's a thing we
okay,
talked
but
about
let's
before,
just clarify this, because you're using AI, but we wouldn't necessarily, because AI has obviously got a hugely bad rep, right? And the reason that AI's got a generally quite a bad rep is because it's used for quite nefarious and unethical purposes, and by this we're mostly talking about generative AI, which is also referred to as the plagiarism machine. Because it's plagiarized a huge, vast data set of artists and very talented people without permission, and then it generates the images based on a lot of their work, and they have no power or recourse to stop it. They've just done this incredibly unethically, and this is not that AI. This is more of an LLM, right? Because it's basically helping you with your code.
Well, here's a bit of one for you. It's learnt to code by copying code that's available on the internet that people have written too.
That's true, but as we all know, coding doesn't take any talent.
See, I don't know, because here's the thing though. Like, there are creative solutions to coding problems that AI has also copied, that people have put a lot of time into figuring out. And even though I'm using it, I'm not sure what the ethics of that are, because although, like, I understand with art is more personal, and I feel like code is generally less personal.
Yes.
There's not that many people that will sit and write code, look at that and go, oh, I poured my soul into that. But I do know people who feel that way about their code.
Sure. I think it is an interesting question, actually. From my point of view, I would say that, yes, it's still ethically sort of grey, but as far as the shade of grey goes, it's much lighter. Like the art's obviously just like, no, that's wrong, right? Whereas with code, especially like snippets of code or solutions to very specific problems, or even just generalized solutions to general abstract problems, I would say it's very difficult to say that, oh, this belongs to this person.
Sure.
And no one else can use it.
I think that part of it as well is, like, when people open source software, it's because they want you to use that code. Whereas when somebody shares artwork, they don't necessarily want you to copy it. They might want you to be inspired by it. They might want you to even redraw it in your own style.
Yes.
But nobody wants you to just go and copy it.
That's correct.
That said, it's not like generative AI does directly copy without creating like amalgamations of things either. I'm honestly not sure where I stand ethically on it. I don't have a hard stance either way, simply because I don't know how artists feel so much, because I'm not really much of an artist.
Okay, well, I know from my finger to the pulse, then I kind of see that Artists are in two camps as well. Some of them embraced AI. Some of them have said, well, this is the future. I better get on board this train because it's going to leave the station eventually. And then others are vehemently opposed and will have nothing to do with it. And I think I'm more in the former camp, to be honest, at this point, in that I just kind of it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. The whole idea of using it, for its like intended purpose. I think there's huge possibilities with AI. It could be extremely exciting and useful and beneficial to humanity as a whole. But unfortunately, we don't seem to be seeing that so much. We're seeing, stuff that's not particularly helpful or beneficial or even ethical. I hope that we get there. But as it stands, I think that you sort of have to kind of make a decision. It's very difficult to sit on the fence. For now, I'm kind of anti-generative AI because I do know that it's hurt a lot of artists, and a lot of artists who are against it are really struggling now to be creative. They're really struggling to just find meaning in their career. They're understanding that they've spent, thousands and thousands of hours, years, decades potentially, learning this skill, and then suddenly someone can just type in a prompt and say, do it in this style, and that's it. And they have, it must be soul destroying, quite honestly. I really do feel for these people. I hope that something changes and that we find a way forward. But it's really, I don't know what's going to happen. The future is a very strange place at the moment in that if we even survive till next year, then, I can't possibly imagine what it's going to be like. And thinking 5 years from now, anyone's guess, really, at this point with AI and all the stuff that's happening geopolitically. Yeah. How's it living in the UK, Catriel? Tell me how it is as a trans woman living in the UK. Completely different subject.
I try not to go outside if I can help it.
Mm?
I don't really feel like I'm living in the UK. I feel like I'm living in the internet.
That's a popular thing, I think. Yeah, not just for the UK, but for a lot of people. But that is such a shame. When you do go out, how is it for you?
Not too bad, really. I find that the average person is fine with me being a trans woman in the UK.
So they should be.
I don't know. The medical system sucks. That's absolutely broken.
Yeah. No. Totally. Yeah. Totally.
I think that the social care system doesn't recognize it very well. I think that even the people that are supportive in the social care systems don't fucking understand it in the slightest, and they're just trying their best.
Okay, so when you say social care systems, specifically...
So I mean sort of like social workers, I mean like anything to sort of do with helping people that are vulnerable, anything to do with mental health. I think a lot don't really understand how it works. Like, I'm diagnosed with a few different mental health disorders, and I remember there was one comment that my old social worker had made where she was like, well, once you've started transition and you've been on hormones for a while, I'm sure that like most of these problems will be gone. And it's like, my ADHD is not going to fucking disappear because I've started hormones. What are you talking about? And there's some people who sort of look at it as like, oh, you're trans, that must be your problem that you're dealing with. Like, that's the thing, like as if trans people are entirely one-dimensionally just like dysphoric all the goddamn time.
Absolutely.
And that's
so
the cause of everything.
You as a trans person, pre-transition, it's terrible, you're living in the wrong body, and then once you take hormones or have the surgery, everything will be fine then, won't it? Then you're fixed.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
That is totally how it works. Yeah.
All of a sudden, my prefrontal cortex has just like fixed itself. Have no more mood disorders anymore. Let alone the fact that like plenty of trans women have a worsening of their mental health symptoms when they change hormones, because how you react to things works differently, how your emotions works differently,
Totally.
and it's like going through puberty all over again.
It's
and
really
I don't know
hard.
if y'all remember puberty, but it's hardly the best time for your mental health.
It's really not. It's awful. I couldn't agree more. It's funny how, and when you, and maybe a lot of other trans women are under this impression that, if I can just get on HRT, if I can just, transition, physically and socially, that'll fix me. But it doesn't. It doesn't fix you. Are you okay?
I think, yeah, I'm good. I think for some people, like, they do experience that, but that tends to be, like, if their primary cause of mental ill health is being trans,
Also, the younger you do it, the less kind of stuff that you've kind of built up, the less trauma you've built up over your life, the less kind of coping mechanisms you've put into place, and it's just all these things you've got to do in order to function as a human being in whatever capacity you can manage. All those, if you do it earlier in life, a lot of those things are much less kind of big problems, smaller problems. Which is great, but obviously it doesn't help all the transitioners such as myself. And it took me a little while to figure out that, once I kind of got on to the other side of the majority of my physical and social transition, that actually now the real work begins, and the real work is sorting all this stuff out here, which is definitely needs some sorting, because it had been neglected for far too long. This is something that I'm trying to work on, actually. I'm making a concerted effort. So every 2 days of the week, I actually try to spend working on my mental health, researching and reading and, meditating and stuff like that. And it's really quite good. I'm quite pleased that I'm trying to do that now. It's because the thing is, you actually, people say you have to put in the work, but you actually do have to put in the work. And to put in the work, you've got to dedicate some time to doing the work, because it's not going to just suddenly happen. So this, I'm in a position where I'm able to do this at the moment. So that's what I'm really trying to do, and I'm optimistic because it feels like it's I'm starting to kind of make and get some results from it. It feels like I'm actually starting to develop a stronger sense of self-worth, which I think a lot of trans women struggle with.
What's your method of doing that? Like, are you in therapy? Do you do personal research? Do you have exercises that you do?
All of the above. I am in therapy, and it's obviously it's good to talk, but I don't know if it's that useful. It really does depend. If you've got a good therapist, I think that can make a huge difference. And my therapist is fine. She's nice, but I don't feel like I'm getting a huge amount out of it. And I also feel like maybe, I'll turn Kat up actually. Yeah, hold on. Errol's complaining as usual. Right, I will tell her. We'll try to. Are you able to turn yourself up actually, Catriel, or are you at max?
I can get myself up to about here, but that's kind of all it'll do before it starts to
Well, that sounds
out a bit for me, I think.
That sounds fine to me. Errol, is that okay with you? Errol will let us know, hopefully.
That's fine. This is what I do in other people's chats.
You complain. No, we got the thumb of approval from Errol.
Nice.
Or the 2 fingers of approval from Errol.
It's where you need a bot that will control your OBS for you, so your mods can just come in and go, I know what that is, and just put the command in.
Yes. Does that exist?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god, I need that.
That totally exists.
Okay, can you send me a link to that bot, because I need that. I need my mods to be able to control this, because
I don't remember off the top of my head what it was called, but I will dig and I will get back to you for sure.
Please do that. That would be so good. Oh wait, Aurelia's saying no. Yes, Aurelia. Yes.
But yeah, I think StreamerBot can do it. I think Mix It Up and Triggerfire can do it as well, but they work in different ways.
I got Triggerfire.
Yeah, I think Triggerfire can manage it. I'm not entirely sure.
Stream Elements as well. I've tried to not get too many parts. So Sandra's saying in chat, the easy part for me was the transition. The hardest part is working on my behavioural patterns, like needing to be with someone or being liked by everyone. I'm lucky though because I'm being a mental coach. Yes, because Sandra's actually a mental health coach. So that definitely helps, as well as being a personal trainer, so physical and mental.
So that's what I see right now. So I don't currently have a therapist, but I do have a mental health coach.
Cool.
And I've been seeing a mental health coach now for, I think, just about a year. And I have weekly sessions with him, and that's been going pretty well.
Good.
Sometimes have been less helpful than others. There's been a couple of times where I've kind of broke him a little bit, where he really just doesn't know how to deal with me. And some of that, it's stuff that we acknowledge would be a problem from the start, which like he's good at helping you like maintain wellness and good strategies for wellness. But if you're in the middle of a mental health episode, he's not a psychiatrist, nor is he a therapist.
Sure.
So he's not entirely equipped to deal with some of the like grittier side of it. So when I'm doing okay, he can like keep that momentum up for me. And he's good at like steering me into using the energy that I have to maintain better mental health in the future. But once my mental health dips, if there's some triggers that happen, he doesn't always know how to deal with me, which is, it's good that he admits it rather than attempts to fix it without knowing what he's doing, at least. But yeah, there's been some weird interactions when that's happened before.
That's a shame. I mean, as we said, there's not that many people kind of who are experts at. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be trans healthcare, but just kind of being able to deal with people who have similar symptoms to what we will present, which obviously is not exclusive to trans people, but it's because we're all human beings at the end of the day. Actually, that's an interesting point, because I remember finding it really difficult to get therapists initially, because everyone was like, well, I have no expertise in trans people. And I was like, I don't think at this point it matters. I think actually it would be just really helpful to have a therapist who was able to to give me therapy as a human being, as opposed to just a trans person, because like I don't think there's that much difference between me and a human being. I think I sort of am one, I think. I don't know.
I mean, I've had this stuff even with friends before, where like I can think of a couple where like I've wanted to go on stream, and like we've suggested like sort of what artwork we're using for people, and someone's like, oh yeah, and you can use a trans flag, and it's like, I mean, sure I could, but I'm not here to represent trans people. I'm just here as somebody who's doing stuff that creative. There's like so much more to me.
Yeah, I would never try to represent trans people.
Well, I mean, it's not like I have a problem doing it, but it's like, if that's not why I'm there,
no, definitely not.
Like I'll certainly like take some time, but I don't know. So it's like they wanted it like attaching to a profile picture of mine and stuff, and it's like, sure, but there's a lot to my identity,
Some people kind of want, like, being trans is almost their identity, and they kind of just run with that, and I guess fine. Other people like you and me, that there's and most people I would say who are trans, there's so much more to us. We are creative, and we are parents and brothers and sisters, and we are we have fully rich and rounded lives, and we're complicated people. But oftentimes people just see us as trans, and immediately they think we're just these kind of two-dimensional kind of caricatures of what what they think a trans person is, which often bears very little relation to
I do think to an extent, like, this is kind of what we all do. Like, we can all try and get to know the depths of people, but we all sort of pick up on what somebody projects or what's more obvious about a person in the first place, and we sort of define them by that until we get to know the depths. It's just kind of an unfortunate thing for trans people that's often what people will see first. especially people who aren't just used to being around trans people. The more
Which
you're
is
around
most
people who
people.
are used to being around trans people, the less that happens.
It's most people. Most people probably don't even think they've met a trans person, whether that's true or not. Which it probably, I mean, it could be because there's not that many of us. But also, a lot of people might meet trans people and not even realize they've met a trans person. It's kind of funny because they have this. We've got such bad press, haven't we? It's not good. But we have such bad press as far as, we should fire our PR company, honestly, because the standard kind of media representation of trans people is, a trans woman is like an angry, middle-aged, kind of very early transition trans woman who's, very visibly trans. And it's a caricature. It doesn't, that kind of person doesn't necessarily even really exist. But that's always what we see, when there's ever kind of any, biased propagandist kind of representation of trans people. And it's just not the case. And so a lot of people, they're looking for that when they're on the street. If they see that, it's like, wow, I wonder if there's any of those weird trans women around, because I know what they look like. I just don't tend to see them. But, I'm on the lookout, I'm on the guard. And meanwhile, they walk past people like you and me and don't spare us a second glance because they just don't think that trans people look like this. But this is what trans people look like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Sandra asks if your therapist is an NLP coach. Do you know what that is? Do you know if they are that?
Neurolinguistic programming, I
Yeah,
assume?
that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
No, not specifically.
Not that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's more just kind of like a life coach. He's also a careers coach, and that's kind of what we pivoted to more towards recently, because I'm hoping to try and work towards getting back into work. So, and with him kind of like not knowing quite where to go with my mental health at this point, it's like, well, can we sort out the shit life syndrome? Because I'll probably feel a bit better if I actually manage to like get some purpose and an income.
Yes. That's absolutely true, isn't it? Yeah, it's all the foundation. It's all the standard foundational stuff that you need to work on in order to get a better life. That's so important, and so often it's easy to focus on the negative. Spend a lot of time on Twitter or something like that. It's really bad for your mental health. Please don't do that, boys and girls, because it's just not. Firstly, it's not representative of society. It's not representative reality. If you go out into the street, those people are probably not on Twitter. There's a very small number of people who actually are active on Twitter. And secondly, it's just a right-wing cesspit. It's really just a nasty place. And looking at Twitter and thinking that represents, actual reality in any way is absurd. And also, even if you're on things like Twitter or whatever, it's still, and you feel like you're immune to it. You feel like, well, it doesn't matter. I understand all the nasty comments that I get. I get them all the time. It's fine. I don't mind. It doesn't get to me. I know who I am. All this kind of stuff. But I started to catch myself thinking, they actually started embedding themselves into my brain. All these kind of really, really hateful, nasty things, and I just started like maybe just subconsciously even. Just kind of starting to see myself from that point of view, and it does this really kind of a real kind of wake up call when I just suddenly realized that I was doing this. It's like, why am I repeating the same things in my head that these
I think like
worst
when
people...
I spent
Sorry, yeah, go on.
I think when I spent too much time on Twitter, I did whenever I would meet new people, I would always feel like I've got to be on edge to figure out if that's like the rhetoric that they're running on. Are they one of the people that think this about me? Thinking that those kinds of people are going to be out there quite commonly. And a lot of the reality is, even if you bump into those people, they ain't brave enough to say that shit to your face.
No chance.
So most of them will be nice to you anyway, because they're just trying to exist in a fucking society the same way that we are, There are very few people that, even if they think that way, will cause a problem because of it.
You can't, you
Yeah.
can't break the social contract so easily in actual real life. The supermarket. If you start doing the same thing that you might be doing on your anonymous account on Twitter, you're gonna find yourself in a bit of a pickle very quickly. People will just not stand for that. Whereas, of course, on Twitter, on your anonymous, sock account, one of 50, you can say what you like and get away with it, and they feel powerful from that. I think it's trying to kind of regain some form of power that they've probably lost in their real life, right?
Yeah, and often that's projected onto us because of their relationship with social constructs and gender, which is a
it's
real trip. The
absolutely.
amount of times that people are telling you information about themselves in the hate that they'll give to you. And I think that, like, as much as being on Twitter was bad for my mental health and some of the shit that I would see on there, it did actually equip me to be able to, like, dissect hateful people.
Okay.
So I think that was something that's quite useful, because as much as it's not something I encounter day to day, and it put me into a state where I felt like I had to be ready to encounter that day to day, it does mean when it does happen, I kind of know why more,
Good. Good.
So that's a good thing to have learned. I think it's just I'm glad I'm out of it now, rather than doing that to myself daily
Yeah.
and logging
So
in.
you've got a little story about your Twitter experience, haven't you? Because you're not on Twitter anymore.
No. If you look for Catriel Bun on Twitter, you will see that I have been suspended. I have been suspended permanently.
Why?
I received officially from Twitter, no reason. They haven't told me a damn thing. They didn't send any of the emails that they usually would. It was definitely, like, non-standard in how
It was Elon
looked.
Musk himself on the button, I think. Yeah, big red button he's got.
Either that or one of the goons that is doing his bidding.
No, totally. It's like that. He's stocked the whole Twitter offices with like 18-year-old sycophants now, hasn't it? It's fresh out of computer science classes or whatever.
Well,
and
that's how they tend to operate, though, isn't it?
It's
all just sycophantic.
They're all working for Daddy Musk.
Yeah.
You got a lot of stuff going on your screen. What's going on your screen now?
Yeah, I didn't even. Can I turn that? Can I turn that off? Sweet. All right. Yeah, I have. Thank you very much for the follow. I forgot I had those on still. I turned the audio off. I didn't turn the visual part of it off.
You just had.
Yeah, it's because I used to stream in groups, so we'd have those on so we know what's going on in everyone's channel,
Yeah. So they kicked you off. They just suspended you. But why?
They kicked me off. I logged in and it was simply disappeared. And it was, it's got to have been about 18 months now. But there was a
sounds about right.
particular Helen, which doesn't narrow it down because there's two very prominent transphobic Helens. But Helen Joyce in particular had been clocked reading Harry Potter smut on the train, which is hilarious given like how much she
was incredible.
We know the group, right? If you know, you know. And
it was an incredible moment on Twitter. So someone had actually taken a photograph of Helen Joyce on the train. Someone's like, "Oh, that's Helen Joyce. I'm going to take a photo. Wait, hold on. What's she reading?" And she managed to get a photograph of both Helen Joyce and the stuff on her. What was it? A Kindle maybe or something, or a phone? No, it was a phone, wasn't it?
It's just she just had the font that large on her phone.
It was on the phone, right? It was just massive on the phone, so she could read it. Okay, fair enough. So the internet did its thing, figure out what actually the words were from, and it was from Harry Potter. It was incestuous stuff, wasn't it?
Okay, so
was it incestuous or something like that?
Somebody read it. They broke down what was happening in it. So I don't know exactly about incestuous. I do know that in particular there was basically like a race play element, particularly looking at like oppression, was part of the kink. So Draco was calling Hermione a mudblood and getting off on being in control.
Okay.
The teacher that was like present in the class was Slughorn, and in the books that makes them 17. at the time.
That's underage,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, in the UK,
So,
yeah, I think it's no, well, it's not good.
yeah, I don't know exactly what the law is, but I know it's at least in a lot of places that's not cool. And I know sort of once you get past a certain age, it's kind of
It's on the edge.
questionable
Yeah, it's on the
anyway.
edge, right?
But
anyway, the thing we need to clarify here is that we absolutely do not want to kink shame anyone. If you're into kink or fantasies or anything like that, as long as it's all perfectly legal and consensual and everyone's having fun, then there's nothing wrong with it at all. However, what we don't like is hypocrisy. We're really not a big fan of hypocrisy. And so someone who's kind of placed themselves as a pillar of moral upstanding, ness, and is, as is so opposed to trans people based on the fact that she considers us all sexual deviants and perverts and predators and, much, much worse things. For her to be reading something like this in public, where there could be children looking, it's a public place.
you see her defense of it,
right? It's not a good look, and it's also extremely hypocritical. Because if imagine if a trans person had done this, and a GC had seen it, they would have gone to prison by now, wouldn't they? Probably in a kangaroo court. Oh, that's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think the age of consent is 16 in the UK. If I remember, though, there's something about, there's a difference between, two 16-year-olds dating, though, and, if you're 16 and much older.
Yes.
I do think there is something about that still in the law.
Good. There should be, I think, because it is weird.
But,
yeah.
So, did you see her defense of why she said she was reading it in public?
Was it research? That's about all I know.
Yeah, she said that she was doing research on how fan fiction was being written in order to essentially promote being transgender to younger people, and that basically the implication was that she thinks that fan fiction might be a large social contributing factor to ROGD, right?
ROGD, rapid onset gender dysphoria, which is not a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. The scientific community is very clear on this. It's debunked, and it's pseudoscientific
Fun
nonsense.
fact is, I recently found out the UK's standard guidelines for titration of hormones in trans people that is currently used by the NHS. It moves much slower and much lower down than what WPATH actually recommends. And the reason why is they're referring to the debunked literature of rapid onset gender dysphoria. So although they tell you that it is simply them trying to be cautious in getting the right level, it's particularly because they want to maintain the reversibility because of how overinflated the risk of detransition is. Which
it's basically
making people wait the length of time that they do in the first place. They figured it out by then. Come on.
They gatekeep. They try to prevent at all costs anyone from being trans because that's the worst thing you can be.
Well, what was it Helen Joyce said? It was that you want to reduce the number of people transitioning in order to maintain a sane society or something along those lines.
It was something like that, wasn't it? It was,
yeah, she definitely...
It was pretty horrible. If anyone's got the actual quote, then that'd be good. But it was basically along those lines. And she just did this. She just said this, we need to be reduced. Our numbers need to be reduced. It's basically the key phrase there. She was, she was like, we need to reduce the number of trans people.
She used the words reduce, and it was definitely like a sane society. The thing that she said as well.
It was quite horrible. I remember that video. So this is Helen Joyce. This is what she actually said, and she was talking to the other horrible person, which is Helen Lewis. Is it?
Staniland?
No, Helen Staniland. That's it. Helen Lewis is a different one. There's so many Helens. No, Helen Staniland. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she was like a former computer programmer or something, wasn't she? But now she's just gone full in on turfery, probably because he plays better.
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? None of them are psychologists
None of them are
or
psychologists.
anything that could be any way relevant to what they talk about.
None of them are experts in the field. And in fact, Helen Joyce was rejected by an Australian court, wasn't she? She flew to Australia in order to try to become an expert witness in this ongoing court case about some app that was excluding trans people from being able to be involved. And the court just said, no, you can't be a witness. You have no expertise in this area, which is correct. It's accurate, and I think she was really not happy about that, though. It's like, what? No, I've appointed myself as an expert. That's how it works. She's against self-ID, but she self-IDs as an expert in trans healthcare. It's quite funny.
That is a good one.
So
yeah, I assume you've been quite down the rabbit hole of that whole group that likes to communicate with each other, because there's quite a few sort of influential transphobes, I think, that like to meet specifically. Yeah, it
is funny. The funniest and saddest one of them all, I think we should just briefly touch on him. I'd never touch him in real life, but let's just touch him on him here.
I know who you're gonna say.
He's going to America. Is he already gone to America? I don't know, but this is Graham Linehan, former comedy writer, now disgraced divorcee of Father Ted, and he used to be like, I think he used to be kind of like a normal person.
I remember the carbonara memes back when I was on Twitter. So many carbonara memes.
So much carbonara. And the racing car bed that he sleeps in. You know, he's flogging all his stuff now. He's flogging all his old, props and things from the IT crowd.
It's surprising. He's spent so long foaming at the mouth online that he's become basically unemployable.
Oh, completely unemployable, except for potentially some kind of right-wing D-list celebrity nonsense in the United States.
And ain't that just the game, though, right?
It's the grift.
That's sure, but I think that like part of it is the people that really have the money in these things, the people who like really lead the media and use trans people to stir up controversy, mostly so that they can just make money. Probably some of them don't even really feel that much hate. They don't feel anything other than money, please.
No, I mean it was quite well publicized.
The goal of lots of
a lot of them were being paid by Russia. Remember, like we've got proof that a lot of these right-wing agitators and influencers and YouTubers,
the Turning Point USA link as well,
they were literally getting paid. They were literally getting paid quite substantial sums of money in order to spout this stuff.
But that's the thing. They only have to do that once. Because once they've done it, these people do become unemployable, and then they literally have no other way to survive other than continue down the same grift. That's what's really funny to me is Helen Joyce in an interview was saying that like trans people could never admit what they're doing because they've gone so far into it that they'll never be able to admit it to themselves. And it's like, oh honey, you're doing it again.
It's a projection.
And that's the kind of thing I mean. There's like anybody who knows nothing about trans people can see that and they're like, really, is that what's happening? Do you know if they're utterly fucking clueless? And that's what's kind of been good about, like, although it's been difficult, really getting into like some of how people's minds are working when they're doing these things. It means that when somebody says something like that, you can turn to the people who are clueless and like, let me break this down for you. Let me show where the money comes from. Let me show everything that they've done that has got them any attention over the last few years. You tell me who's in too deep.
Speaking of in too deep, J.K. Rowling is still going for it, isn't she? She's still going for it. She's got her shovel. I've managed
to almost ignore her existence entirely for about the 18 months I've been off Twitter, because that's about the only place she really exists anymore.
Yeah.
So I feel quite lucky that I honestly have no fucking clue what she's up to now. So if you'd like to let me know, sure, but
we don't have to talk about what she's up to. Honestly, she's a waste of time, isn't she? A waste of good oxygen. But
The last thing I heard is people were making memes that the black mold in her home has finally driven her
Right, so
insane. That was the last thing I heard.
That was
the
quite
black
funny.
mold
That
joke.
went quite big. Actually, a lot of people were talking about that in wider circles. It was quite good. But I think the new thing is, the new thing that she's mostly concentrating on is helping to support all the hate that's happening around this poor doctor, where she's having this trial. Is it Dr. Upton? I think she's on trial. I don't think she's even on trial properly, but she is. But it's actually the health service that that she works for, which is sort of on trial here or whatever, because it's been sued by one of the transphobic nurses that had to work with her. And she just didn't want didn't want this trans doctor to be around in the same spaces as she was. So they gave her an option. They said, well, all the women here are absolutely totally happy to have this other woman in with them in the toilets or or whatever. I mean, they all probably had cubicles, right? Anyway, so it's just in the bathrooms or whatever. Of course she's welcome. She's a woman, but this one transphobic one was like, no, I don't want her in it. And so then they made arrangements for her to have her own special bathroom. They said, okay, well, if you don't want to be in the women's bathroom,
who are you talking about brought the lawsuit forward?
This is the transphobe, which I think she was dismissed or whatever, and it's one of those stupid what's it called?
Initials MF.
No, it's not. No, it's not her. It's this nurse.
Because that's almost identical to what she did, I think.
Yeah, it's an employment tribunal. I think, is it an employment tribunal?
Yeah,
they usually are, because they've really found a wedge where they can just kind of get in here and try and win cases on employment tribunals.
Well, that's where a lot of this is being done, right? Where they're trying to set precedent with multiple cases and edge ever so closer to excluding people from more and more spaces for more and more reasons. And that's why these individual lawsuits are happening, and yet they have so much funding behind them from so many people, because that's being put there specifically to set cases that people can then refer to in order to legally discriminate against trans people and slowly erode what the Equality Act does.
It's really horrible. I'm just gonna quickly put up an article, a recent BBC News article. Sorry, it's BBC, but
yeah, I'll be just a second.
Go for it. Where's my iPad?
Nurse is Sandy Peggy. The doctor is Dr. Beth Upton. Okay.
There we go.
Panic is 100% scapegoating to get away focus from other things being done. And ain't it just for anyone who's under the boot, right? Because it certainly isn't just trans people that are getting this shit. It's just everyone gets their own flavor of rhetoric, unfortunately.
Yeah. So this is Dr. Upton. She's an absolute hero. She's a superstar. And what's happening in the press and around, the stuff that's surrounding this case is absolutely disgusting, because some newspapers are now insisting that they can misgender her with impunity. They're calling her a man and things, and this is in newspapers.
We've already. I've noticed where you're. The misgender with impunity was a particular line that was given to Maya Forstater in her employment tribunal, where the judge had said that misgendering a trans person with impunity is still to be recognized as harassment.
Yes, it should be.
It was particularly misgendering with impunity with the words that were used. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's what's happening here, no question. And the only thing is that laws are only as good as there's there's people who will enforce them. And it seems like this kind of stuff is just being pushed under the rug. So anyway, it's a real shame what's happening with her. I expect her to lose, honestly, because the legal system in the UK is really not fit for purpose when it comes to trans people. It's sort of it's sort of by design, like it's like it's working as designed kind of thing. It's not broken, it's working as designed, because we don't get any rulings in our case on our side, and we're just losing more and more rights and more and more ability to live safe as ourselves.
So this is the precedent that was set. It was the Employment Appeal Tribunal held that gender critical beliefs come within the definition of philosophical belief under the Equality Act in 4 states of the CDG Europe. In reaching this decision, the EAT was very keen to emphasize that it was not expressing any views on the merits of either side of the transgender debate, which, jeez, it did not mean that those with gender-critical beliefs could misgender with impunity. Trans persons would still have protection against discrimination and harassment, and it did not mean employers and service providers would not be able to provide a safe environment for trans persons. So it is very strongly implied that it is to be recognized that misgendering a trans person with impunity constitutes an unsafe environment for a trans person, and therefore that specific act is not protected under the Equality Act, regardless of what beliefs you have.
But unfortunately, the judge in this case has allowed the complainant to do exactly that throughout the entire trial, including the complainant's lawyers and solicitors. So this poor woman is on the stand being misgendered by the entire other side of the case,
and that's, of course, that was always going to be the next step in the next big case, right? Because that was the particular stipulation that was set. And if there are any stipulations that are coming out of this, that's what they'll come for next, because it's all designed to slowly, step by step,
erode.
Yeah.
Erode. Yeah.
What was the saying? Meet me in the middle, says the fascist. You take a step forward, they take a step back.
Yeah. It's a good one, though, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, it's depressing. Shall we talk about something more? Shall we talk about something nicer?
Sure.
Because it's important, and we need to know what's going on. But also, it can be a bit too much, especially as a trans person. Sometimes you just want to go out, have a good time, and go to drinking with your friends, and it's not. You don't really want to have all this stuff constantly in the background, being talked about and being played out, and you just want to be able to just forget about it. So maybe we should do that. I don't know. It's also fun to make fun of trans.
It's rarely it's rarely a thing that I acknowledge about my own identity. It's only when it's sort of relevant to a conversation that it even is a thing. And I'm sure it's the same for most people. You don't exist as you exist as a person until identifying as trans is something relevant to what's going on. But most of the time it's not relevant.
No,
even.
Not at all. No.
So it's certainly important to talk about, but yeah.
If you could, if there was such a thing as a memory wiper, like the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind kind of style, where you could just forget you were trans, it could take away all those memories where you were trans, and then you could just kind of forget you were trans and just live the rest of your life as a woman. Would you do it? Would you take it?
I don't think I need it. I think most of the time I'm in that state anyway. And then the very few times where I do think about it, I think I'm thinking about it because there's maybe things that I can work towards doing about it. There's maybe changes that I can make, not just for the sake of myself, but for other people, so that eventually nobody ever has to have it on their mind anyway. People can just be who they are.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? That's a nice future. I think we should definitely work towards that future.
That would be lovely. And I would sooner sort of have that in mind. So no, I don't think I would, because I don't really see it as something that burdens me so much as it's just
Good.
The time we live in sometimes requires my attention on it, and that's all.
That's really good. So another thing that I've been thinking about recently, as part of my drive to better myself and to improve my mental health, is this pervasive idea, which I only recognized it in myself. It was such a kind of foundational thing, and it was quite an eureka moment when I recognized it. And that is that, and it's one thing saying it and another thing to know it, but I'm starting to know it now, and that is that trans women are not inferior to cis women. So it's so pervasive. Yeah, it's so pervasive throughout culture. It's just drilled into you from a very early age, from all kind of sources, and that is that being a trans woman is inferior to being a cis woman. And it's simply
Yeah,
not true. You know, it's just not.
I think that because people have like a lot of gender dysphoria as well, though, during the transition, I mean, some of it comes from external places. I think that sometimes people have internalized that. And something that's been helpful for me, especially like since starting hormones and going through the more physical changes, um, is it's a process of becoming rather than a process of improving. Like you can work on self-improvement at the same time, but like going through transition is just a state of becoming. And I think for a long time I viewed it as a state of improving.
Okay.
And I thought that the more that I was headed towards like as many changes as I could to sort of like emulate cis women as much as possible, when I'm not a cis woman, I'm a trans woman, and I'm far more comfortable with being a trans woman rather than going, oh, I wish I was a cis woman and that's why I'm transitioning, right? And that did used to be a sort of thought that played in my mind. And I think that kind of led me to so like you know, as a trans person, if you're accessing the medical system, there are decisions that you have to make, and one of those things is surgery, and that's still not something that I am sure on personally. And I want to talk to a therapist about it, because I spent sort of so long not being able to explore,
Okay.
and then knowing that I wanted hormone treatment but still not being sure on much else, that I started to get into my head like a desperation to change. And I think in some of that desperation, some of my own perceptions have been warped into the like a thought of, especially with when people are like, oh, are you getting the surgery? I think I started to internalize that, where it's like, oh, that's a necessary step in order for me to be a
Yeah,
woman.
well, cis
And
society will try to convince you that that's the
exactly.
case, but don't listen to cis heteronormative society, because they are wrong in so many ways about these kinds of things.
And I think what I still need to untangle, and what I don't yet understand about myself, is if I look at getting surgery, and sometimes I'm thinking about that positively, I don't know where the positivity is coming from. I don't know if that's something that's actually coming from me, or if it's coming from a desire to conform
Yeah,
in
sure.
some kind of way.
Sure.
So I want to get into therapy with that, because I don't know. I want to sort of untangle my own perceptions of it, and whether that's actually a thing that it is going to make me feel better,
Totally.
or whether it's something that I only feel bad about it because I've like internalized how other people think
Yeah,
I should
completely.
be.
And you know, because it is such a big surgery, you really do need to be sure about it. Like if you kind of, I don't know,
Absolutely.
50-50, it's not something you can try
Yeah.
out. It's a one-way
So
street, obviously.
So I've done what I can with it, and I'm getting in to see a gender-specific therapist at the GIC before I continue to make that decision.
Good.
They've said I can go on the waiting list at the same time as doing the therapy, and I can get taken off of it.
Cool.
But I did find it kind of funny that so when I said like, so like, do you need like a psychological all clear for this? And she's like, no, you've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, so you can't just choose to have that surgery now.
Yeah.
And that was so strange to me, after having to wait for as long as I did just to start hormones as well, which is far more reversible if this is
funny,
what they're
isn't it?
concerned
Yeah.
about, right?
It's like if you get the diagnosis, then they just think that you're gonna be all in. You're gonna be like, right. That's why it's taken so long. That's why it's such a gatekeepy process, because basically if you say you're trans, then that means you're getting the surgery, no question. And so we have to ensure that we've checked that that's going to be a thing. But
and everyone's got a different idea of what kind of surgeries you're going to get as well. I've spoken to medical professionals who didn't realize that like HRT causes breast growth. They thought any trans woman had implants.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, don't they?
It's like some might, but no.
Also, another thing that's quite funny is that, from my point of view, the one thing that was absolutely life-changing over and above any other surgery was my face. Like, no question. My FFS was the thing that really helped me in so many ways to finally be myself. You know, I finally recognized the person I am, you know, and that's generally not offered on any kind of NHS. But honestly, if it was, if you could like choose between facial surgery or genital surgery, I think a lot of people would just be like, I'm going to go for the facial surgery, thanks. So, that's the thing that is absolutely vital for me right now to live a life.
As fun as that could be, my face is on display far more.
Exactly. Exactly, yeah. And if you do it the other way around, people don't like it, apparently.
Oh, wait, sorry, my mum's in the chat. Hi, mum. Sherry Bun is my mum, by the way.
Sherry Bun's your mum. Oh, wow. So cool. We got your mum in the chat. Didn't know. Hello, Sherry. It's nice to meet you. We said we feel so privileged to be a part. I'm going to read all her chats now. We feel so privileged to be a part of our daughter's life and journey and for her to allow us to know her true self. That's amazing. So lovely. It's great to have. Hi, it's great to have supportive parents, isn't it? I am privileged enough as well to have two amazing parents who have supported me and all this kind of stuff, and my brother as well. He's been amazing. So
yeah, I think the only teething issues that me and mum have had is like understanding. There's never been any non-acceptance.
cool.
It's always just been sort of like, I don't know what this is. But my mum's learned a hell of a lot in the last few years, and she listens very well.
Cool. Can I ask how old you are?
She's incredibly supportive. I'm actually 30.
30. Okay.
So turned 30 fairly recently.
And
had a
you
bit of an
started
existential
transitioning
crisis.
how many years ago?
What do you mean socially?
Oh, I mean, in any capacity, really, or whatever, however you want to count it. It's up to you. What do you count as the start of your transition? I'm not going to dictate that for you.
I could try and break it down. I guess I first fully admitted it to myself.
Yeah, that's important.
About 8 years ago.
Okay.
And then I had like one last suppression, I guess, because that happened a few times where I like sort of the idea came up and then I pushed it back down again. And I did that for a while. I told a friend about it, and he had some weird ideas about it, and he basically said, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you should do, but you should never have kids because you'll confuse them. And
can I just
that was
say
it. Back into my shell.
And can I just say that's absolute nonsense. I have they were 6. I have 2 girls. They were 6 when I told them, and it took them about 30 seconds to get fully on board. They were not confused. If anything, they kind of were like, "Oh, this actually makes more sense now." And they were completely on board. They were like, "Oh, brilliant, so we're all going to be girls in the house." And I'm like, yes, because we've even got a female dog. It's like, this is great.
Yeah. I think that kids haven't learned to discriminate yet in a lot of ways, right?
It's learned behavior. It's learned behavior, I
Absolutely.
think. And it's often learned from parents and from peers, but it's definitely not innate,
Absolutely.
And children are very, very kind of flexible with the very malleable little brains. It's amazing, everything, because they're so young. They haven't really kind of solidified a lot of the concepts that older people have, and so every day is going to bring them something new. Almost this day when I came out to mine was just a day that was a little bit more new than most, but they just rolled with it. It's fine. So now they're 9, and I think they're probably going to struggle to remember old me, actually. But when they kind of grow up and stuff, they're going to struggle to remember that kind of sad guy. I hope. I don't have any problems with them just not remembering him. I say him, it's me, but
But yeah, that kind of disappeared for a while, and then I was with a partner who saw me in many ways, and I ended up coming out to them, who has also had some of their own identity revelations.
Okay.
Since then too, and that was kind of kept hush for a while, and then I spoke to a doctor about 6 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer, and and he was like, "Are you sure about this?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure." It was like the same doctor I'd had for years and years as well.
Okay.
He said, "Are you sure about this?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure. But if by the time I get there I'm not sure, I figured they're the people to talk to,
Yes.
right?"
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, because I
Yeah.
had such little understanding of it at the time myself, even. And it's funny. Like I knew in many ways, but I never had the language to articulate it.
That's a common
That's
problem. A common problem, especially for people my age as well. It was even worse, because there wasn't really then there was no internet when we were young. I was like, I don't know, I was in my I was probably around 20 years old by the time I started understanding what the internet was. Then it was, and back then it was nothing like it is now. Thanks, Aurelia. Thank you. This is my beautiful assistant and mod and flatmate Aurelia.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks. Oh, perfect. It's really good, this, actually. I'm drinking...
I want to try some of the other flavors, but I knew you liked this.
I like this one. It's blueberry... Errol, do you like this one? It's blueberry... Biola. Blueberry Biola. It's hard to say. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I did 5 years of very open social transition, I guess.
Oh, cool.
I think my mom found out about a year after I'd already been referred to a gender clinic. And I've been on HRT now for 6 months.
Okay, only 6 months. Wow. I would not have guessed. I would have said it was longer. That's so cool, though.
Yeah, I think that there's actually fairly little noticeable physical changes on camera. There's definitely some other stuff going on so far.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's wild how much you end up sort of just changing in the social transition phase when you don't have access to HRT. As I've sort of come out of my shell more, as I've explored my identity more, I mean, this is one of the things. So I went to voice training fairly recently, and my voice is still quite low now. I'm not employing the skills that I've learned there, but I am employing what I've.
But also, can I just say that you don't have a super masculine voice? You don't have like a deep or.
Oh yeah, but I used to. I did quite a bit of work on it, and this is where it used to sit all the time, right?
And now that's like an active effort to have to go into that, because it's kind of just like playing an instrument in a different spot. So it's, where I am now isn't something that I think about, and where I'll be won't be something that I think about once I've done more practice on that.
That's cool.
But some of this was just kind of very subconscious. I didn't really have to think about it. And there's a bunch of information that you get when you go into voice training, and some of it is all about your body language and stuff too. So I talk with my hands a lot, and that's not something that I used to do as much. It's
because it's kind of more traditionally known as male kind of behavior. Is kind of, you don't talk with your hands, and women do. And this is something that we learn, as I don't like the term, but being socialized male, you do have to try to learn to pretend to be a man, and
being socialized male is often just toxic masculinity with a different label.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I can get behind that.
And from existing with that label for quite some time as male.
So stifling, though.
There's definitely a level of conformity required to be part of that group, right?
Sure. I don't know about you, but
on both sides of the fence, somewhat, I guess. But
yeah, my experience was that I did try to hide it for quite a long time, obviously, and so I did my best, but I was constantly kind of second guessing my own kind of mannerisms and my own, the things I would say, the way I would. Gesture and have body language and stuff. I was always constantly just looking back at myself, self-reflecting, and being like, oh shit, I can't put my hand on my hip. I gotta stand like a human being. It was so difficult. I was constantly second guessing. It was constantly just this, required energy that I had to put in, just low level, just to try to maintain this
Absolutely.
unnatural kind of state for myself. And when when I did get on HRT, and when I, not long after the HRT, I think most of my mannerisms had just changed. I'd kind of just relaxed into it. It wasn't that I had to think about trying to now I've got to act like a woman now. That's just absolutely not what it was. All I had to do was just remove all that nonsense that I'd put up.
Yes, exactly.
It was removal rather than anything else. And suddenly the rest followed, and it became extremely natural. It was just like, it was no effort at all required, okay? Which is the way it should be, because that's how generally people experience life and being themselves. It doesn't actually require any effort. Such a revelation as a trans person to finally have that state of being. It's like a huge weight has been lifted from your shoulders.
Yeah. Gotcha has pointed out my name spelt wrong in the title.
Shit.
Missing an I.
I'm sorry. It is, isn't it? Let me just
okay.
sort that out. Oh, that's my fault. I'm pressing the wrong keyboard. There you go. Hopefully that's updated it.
Yes, there it goes.
Yeah, cool.
It's highlighted now.
Sorry about that.
My mum's asking if you mind if she asks your age.
No, I don't mind. Not for mummy. I'll tell you my age. I'm 48. And I'm obviously doing my roots, because I would be pretty much grey by now completely, I think. But yeah, I'm 48.
That's impressive.
Yeah, okay, sure. And people say that a lot. It's quite nice. I was, I amazed. I was, how do I say this? I'm sorry. I was with a guy last night, and he was, when he asked my age towards the end of the night when I was gonna leave, I told him, and he was like, "You're joking. I don't believe you." And all this kind of stuff. He was dead serious. And I was like, I am not joking. I am 48. This is what I am. And also, thank you. It's quite nice. But I don't know what I've done. I don't know what I've done to look out like this. I don't think I've really earned it or done anything to achieve this other than just be very lucky with genetics or whatever. But I have had, to be fair, I have spent quite a bit of money. I've had 2 FFSs. Not 1, but 2, just to kind of, tighten things up a little bit. But, yeah, it's good stuff, really. It's good. Surgeries are very, very, when they work, they're amazing. A lot of people, again, have this bad idea of surgery and things because they see ones which are bad. Like it's confirmation bias again. They see surgeries which have gone wrong or where the person is still healing, and they're still inflamed or swollen and stuff, and they think, oh gosh, look at that, it's awful surgery, never have plastic surgery, it always makes you look really weird. But actually, it's like special effects in a film. The better the special effects, the less you see it. And that's the way it is in here, here as well. There's so many women out there, so many influencers, so many Instagram models, so many lingerie models, whatever, actors, so many women and men are having surgery. And you don't see it. You don't think, you just don't see it at all. It's invisible. But it's absolutely prevalent. It's absolutely widespread. You pick any Instagram person with like more than 500,000 followers, and they will have had surgery. Like almost certainly, they will have had some kind of facial surgery, gender affirming surgery, one might say.
It's funny. My favorite musical, in many ways, and still to this day, is Repo the Genetic Opera. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I don't know it. Sorry, no. Well, we can. Can we look at it briefly?
I don't know how Twitch will feel about it because it's playing songs.
I know, but like we could risk it for a little bit.
Yeah,
I was excited about
it's
idea.
It's your stream, sure.
No,
You
it's
just
fine,
don't risk
and
getting
probably what's
VOD
going to
muted.
happen.
It's not like they come down that hard.
They don't come down
Repo,
that hard.
yeah, okay, so.
At the end of the day, the audio gets muted. I think that's generally what happens. It's not really a big deal. It's not like. It's not like this is.
I somehow. I somehow didn't realize I was trans after becoming obsessed with Repo as a musical.
Okay.
But essentially, the concept of Repo is it's a future where basically like surgery becomes one of the largest business conglomerates. But after there's like a pandemic of some sort that requires people to get organ replacements,
Okay.
and so organs are put on financing plans, and so everybody ends up in debt. And then once they've got more money, they start marketing surgery as like a fashion option to everyone, and everyone starts getting addicted to surgery.
Okay. So I found it. I think I found the
yeah.
trailer. Repo the Genetic Opera trailer, HD. So that should be okay. It's only two minutes. Let's see if I can get this up.
Trailer should be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
That's free advertising.
Well,
at
exactly.
that point.
Exactly. I'm doing them a favor. Let me just turn off my music. I know.
It Cosmetics CC Cream, the first
It's,
7-in-1
It's
foundation
very
with
B-movie. It's
anti-aging
very
serum.
campy, but it's good.
Sounds good to me.
Premium.
Another
It has
event.
Paris Hilton in it.
Oh my god, really?
hmm
Okay, here we go. I'm just going to play on
There's
here.
actually quite a lot of famous faces.
By the middle of the 21st century, organ failure had become
Look
a
at that.
worldwide epidemic. But GeneCo was there to satisfy the demand for organ replacements. The problem is, if you miss a payment, GeneCo sends out the Repo Man. And when he finds you, your time is up.
Collect on the Handelman account at once. This payment is past due.
Look what I've become. It's me she must escape.
Oh yeah, it's got Anthony Stewart Head in it too.
Got all sorts of people. Sarah Brightman. Okay. Paris Hilton. No. There you go. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of in actually. I'll probably watch that at some point. Put it on the
Yeah,
list.
I can recommend it. It is like kind of goofy and campy in many ways.
Well,
It's
it's a
also
rock
incredibly gory.
Okay, good. No, you-
And lots of questionable sexuality in there.
It's okay. You don't have to sell it to me, Harry. I'm already going to go watch it. No, it looks good that. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you for an insight into your strange and perverted mind. There's a sequel apparently. Have you watched the sequel? Yeah,
There's a sequel?
Apparently, yeah. Chat's saying there's a sequel. There you go.
What?
Yeah. So now you know.
What?
Now you know. It's funny, yes.
Sorry, I'm immediately Googling this.
Go for it. Bad Germ says, you mean even Elon Musk has had surgery? No, he's naturally that handsome. Yeah, he's had lots of surgery.
I'm just saying that it never got a sequel, but is The Devil's Carnival what you're referring to? It looks like they released another musical, but it's not a
Miss
sequel.
Fee telling porcupines. It's not a sequel, but it's, yeah, okay. There's two other movies that are grouped with it. Yeah, The Devil's Carnival. So it's sort of maybe in the same universe or something. I don't know.
Got you.
which could still be worth a watch if you enjoy this. It's possible that it's kind of nice to watch the rest of the group of
Yeah,
films.
I'll have to take a look at him. My mum just followed me. Mum, you weren't
Yay.
following me?
She's following me as well now. She's following everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Catriel's mum. Why? I want my mum watching as well now. I feel left out. I don't think my mum has ever watched my Twitch.
Yeah, I had to remind her how to do a, forgot my password thing, because she watched me when I went to go and visit some friends in the States about 1.5 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only time she's used Twitch besides today. So
the thing is, though, sometimes I do get a bit hot and steamy on the channel, and I don't know if I'd be super happy with my mum watching at the same time. I mean, obviously I wouldn't. So I'd you know, there's a danger with having.
If she's uncomfortable, she'll leave.
Okay.
But no, I was.
Yes, but at what point? Because she'd have to
My
hear
mum's
something.
dirtier minded than I am.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. And my mum's not exactly a prude either. But even so, I don't want to break her little brain.
I don't think my mum would understand the memes that I have when I stream with my team.
Yes. Memes.
Yeah. We've got far too many in-jokes over in that group. We've got a running joke that one of our team members fucks dolphins.
Oh my god. We've got a rule in this chat where there is no dolphins. Dolphins are not allowed in chat. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I hope there aren't any dolphins here.
Oh. Shit, sorry.
We can talk about them. It's not like we can't talk about them. It's not that they're a taboo subject. It's just they're not allowed in chat. And if we find any dolphins, they will get kicked.
So it's quite funny because it's actually the only one soundboard command that I have set up is a dolphin.
Oh, come on, let's see. That's really good.
And I have that specifically for whenever one's built up. Whenever one's brought up, I hit that button, and then we all laugh at Brandito. And it all started because we were talking about John McAfee, and I don't know if you know that story, and I'm not really sure.
Well, I know kind of roughly who he is. He's a guy who made a virus checker thing for PCs.
Have you seen the video of him telling people how to uninstall it?
No, but now I want to. I didn't know. I've seen other interviews with him. I've seen a recent interview. She's a really good comedian that I think she interviewed John McAfee, and he was waving his gun around and just in the interview, and he's just absolutely.
He was absolutely insane.
Something's wrong. Something's really wrong with John McAfee. But now
There's a video of him telling you how to uninstall it. If you're going to play it, though, you need to go back into your tags and you need to enable the one about drug use. Because that's in the video.
Okay, let me do that.
Just as a heads up.
No, but I want to do that now. I'm going to do it because I want to know. Yeah, here we go. I mean, I should have just checked them all on, really, because we might do some gambling later. We don't know at this point.
The way that became attached to my friend is he said, you can do so much with your life. You could donate to 100 orphanages, but once you fuck a dolphin, you're nothing else. You're the dolphin fucker.
You're that then. That's it. That's your life. It's like...
So we applied it to him, and it's just stayed that way for about 3 years.
Right, what am I searching for on YouTube to get this John McAfee thing?
How to uninstall McAfee, and it'll probably be pretty high. There might actually be some genuine tutorials, but that's not what you're looking for.
Right, John McAfee, how to uninstall McAfee antivirus. He looks like ass, and he's sat in front of a library. I think this might be the one. And now a message.
Yeah, that'll be the one.
John
if it starts
McAfee.
with John McAfee. Yeah.
We're gonna do it. This is gonna be. I'm excited. I actually am genuinely excited to hear what's gonna happen here. John McAfee is such a legend.
It's amazing.
Not in a good way. Oops, hold on. Where's it? There it is.
Send. Oh, hello there. My name is John McAfee. I'm the
John
founder
McAfee.
of the McAfee Antivirus Software Company. Although I've had nothing to do with this company for over 15 years, I still get volumes of mail asking, how do I uninstall this software? I have no idea. I really need to quit. As I said, I've had nothing to do with McAfee software for over 15 years. I've had more pressing things to do. But recent events have made me change my mind. I've had, over the years, many responses from users who are complaining about the difficulty in removing the software. I'd like to read you a few things. Holy fucking shit. I was drawing for like 5 hours straight on this marvelous drawing, and I had to do a big-ass scan that slows the shit out of my computer. It was McAfee, of course. My computer's always really fast, but that son of a bitch has to come fuck it up. Here's another. My free trial for McAfee, or however it's spelled, expired. When it expired, it blocked Pornhub. Fuck McAfee. Fuck them in their stupid faces. I hope they all get dick and cunt rot and die a slow, agonizing death for limiting my porn use to X-Hamster.
That
No one
sounds
should
like
have
my
to
Twitter
use
DMs
X-Hamster.
now.
I tried one final time and got the Urban Dictionary definition for McAfee. McAfee, a barely passable virus scanning program that updates at the worst possible time. Tends to render your computer completely useless whenever it starts an update, which it doesn't ask to start, and you cannot cancel or pause. McAfee updates at horrible times, almost like the creators want you to die. So I finally remembered how to uninstall McAfee antivirus software, and I've asked my friend Bartholomew to walk you through the steps. This is my lab tech, Bartholomew. He's going to take you through step by step the process of uninstalling the McAfee antivirus software. Well, say hello, Bartholomew. Yes, so if you need me, I'll be over here, and good luck.
The procedure for removing McAfee antivirus software from your computer is as follows. First, make sure you have a full backup.
Yes, Bartholomew, back it up. Back it up, that's right.
Yeah,
Very
John.
important, back it up.
Who's this video
Sir, should I
for?
be reading the instructions for the Mac or PC? They're really quite different.
I have no idea.
Depending on which edition and version of McAfee's anti-malware
No, I think it's
software
for John
is
It's John. It's
installed
exclusively
on
for
your
John
computer,
McAfee,
You may
isn't
have
it?
to click on Remove, Uninstall, or a
think so.
similarly named option to begin the uninstall process.
Thank you,
When
my
finished,
McAfee's
reboot
arrived.
the system. John, are you getting this?
Yeah, yes.
Service where like you get sent
You may have to download McAfee Consumer Product Removal Tool. John?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Does that sound about right?
Well, not completely, you know. I mean, it's always there. It's watching. It's been watching me for years. Every time I turn on the fucking computer, it's there looking at me. You know, something went wrong. 15 years ago, I had some beautiful software, and they took it over. I don't know what they did. It was like the time I hired that Bangkok prostitute to do my taxes while I fucked my accountant. It was terrible. The same fucking thing is going on now. But I know what to do. I know exactly what to do. Believe me, I've got a fucking solution right here.
I don't know what to say. That's incredible, isn't it? That is incredible.
Yeah, I shouldn't have suggested that.
No,
It's hard to follow.
No, no, it was good. No, thank you. This is the content that everyone's here for. Honestly, I think it's why I turn up. It's why I get up in the morning. Wow, John. I still struggle to say John McAfee. No. John
McAfee, yeah.
Well, John McAfee. I know I say that, but that's not what he was saying. Does that matter?
John McAfee.
John McAfee. It was John McAfee, wasn't it? It's John McAfee. Yeah. John McAfee. It's a different way of saying it, and I'm gonna have to get used to that. I don't want to dead name you, John. John McAfee. It's awful. Who did he make that for? Because. Did he make that for his, like, 12-year-old
He
fans?
might have actually been trying to, probably for fans, but also he was probably trying to cut down on the number of emails he was getting.
You think you think it's a genuine attempt to cut down on emails? I don't know. It doesn't seem. I think that was his excuse to make a video on YouTube of him snorting cocaine and being surrounded by prostitutes. I think there's, and then trying to convince everyone that this is what success looks like. This is what everyone should aspire to, okay? If you're not aspiring to this, what are you even doing? This is success.
I don't know if he was trying to tell people that that's what they should be doing, as much as just go, I don't care. I'm busy doing this. Stop.
This is his, this is his definition. No, sure, yeah, this is his definition of success.
It's like, let me show you how little of a shit I give that my name is still bothering people as an antivirus software. I'm over it. Like,
it is
I think that's
funny.
what it was.
Yeah, Johnny's the insane antivirus guy. Sharp, good to see. Oh my gosh, that was awful and also fascinating. Fascinating insight into a very disturbed mind. But now that we're on this, I do want to there is another thing that I wanted to show, because I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but she's absolutely hilarious. And I don't know if Sandra's still in the chat, but Sandra's put me on to this woman. She's so funny. Is it Jenna Friedman is her name, maybe? Yes, it is. And she interviews John McAfee. Here we go. And it's unbelievable. Here we go. It's for Adult Swim. It's the John McAfee interview. Let's just dip in.
Because really, that's all that matters to me.
Did you think Trump was going to be president?
Yes, I hoped he was, actually, because the alternative was not very palatable to me.
Did you think
I will not tell you why, because it will implicate me in horrific
Sounds like
situations.
you're asking me to inquire, but I'm not going to.
I am actually, because I'm not sure I'm going to say it or not.
Well, it sounds like you're egging me on to ask you. I want to respect your privacy.
I am actually, because I'm not sure I will say it. I've never said it ever.
Well, if you
not
want
not in 6 years since I left police have I ever stated why.
Do you want to?
Absolutely.
Okay, well then you're welcome.
Okay, so when I went on the run in police, I had friends in the U.S. Embassy in Belize. I knew what was coming down. I'm not stupid. I had arranged with the head of security. I was going to come in. He said, "Sir, we have it from the highest authority. We are not to allow you entry into the U.S. Embassy." Understand me. Who was the highest authority of the State Department? Hillary Clinton. I'm an American citizen with a American passport. I'm sorry. I'm not wanted in America. I've got no crimes in America. Is it not a reason to say, I don't think I'm going to vote for you?
And yet you're here now.
For a month and a half, I was on the run. The reason that the government wanted to collect me was that after they had raided my property in 2012 in the jungle, shot my dog, abused me, destroyed $500,000 worth of my property over a bogus charge, I was pissed off. And so I donated to many secretaries within the government laptop computers, really nice ones, that were preloaded with viral spyware. Within a week, the entire government computer system was under my control. I was watching, monitoring, listening. I was looking for information that they had set me up for that raid. I didn't find that. I did find out that the Minister of National Defense was the largest drug trafficker in all of Central America. And the Minister of Immigration, the largest human trafficker.
Well, we don't want to get killed by them either, so we're probably not going to share that.
That's fine.
It was getting a little hot in John McAfee's compound, so we decided to step outside.
Cheers.
He's just incredible. He's just unbelievable, isn't he? Like you just don't know if what he's saying is true, or if he dreamt it in some kind of drug-fueled, hallucinogenic kind of state. I think I'm gonna probably think it's the latter, but it's really difficult to know with him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Edward Snowden, but with psychosis.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's like the the version of Edward Snowden that just took too many drugs. I mean, I don't know how many Edward's done, but probably a few just to deal with it. But yeah, no, very weird.
Yeah, he's probably more on downers than uppers, though.
Yeah, right. There you go. That's what the difference is. Yes. John's on all the uppers.
Yin and yang, everything is balanced.
And Snowden is kind of just like, I'm fine.
Wild.
Oh my gosh. So hey, we can talk about drugs now. Because I just put the thing on.
Wonderful.
We could just talk about the rest of the stream. Could just be us talking about drugs. Is that?
I mean, we could, but should we?
I don't know. Well, obviously, I've never done any because it's not legal in Norway. So I abide by all local laws and at all times, and therefore I can only talk about hypotheticals.
I see.
But hypothetically,
I'm not sure drugs is the conversation I want to have.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Your mum's in the chat. I know. That's why I'm trying to do it. So my
mum would be fine to hear anything I have to say anyway.
Cool. Well then, I'm just trying to now because I know your mum's in the chat, and now I'm trying to think about. So how did you lose your virginity? No.
I'm sure she knows that one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we should. Okay.
I've never really kept much from my mum.
That's great.
Yeah, my mum bought me my first box of condoms.
Awesome. That's what mummies are for. So my mum took me shopping when I came out to my parents. I was, I think, 17. I'd known like the whole time, right? But I came out to them at 17, and I said, I didn't really have the language because I was 17, and this was in the, what was this? No, it was in the 90s, yeah. Because there wasn't really even such a thing as the language for being transgender and all that kind of stuff evolved a little later. But anyway, so I came out to them in whatever capacity I could. Basically, I probably said I just feel like a woman. I feel like I'm a girl. I don't understand it, and and I really want to have different clothes and wear different clothes and stuff like that and be able to express myself as a woman. And so my mum, the very next weekend, she took me shopping in town, and we bought a dress and some shoes and some underwear and all this kind of stuff. It was fantastic. I think we maybe got a bit of makeup. And it was just the best time. I had such a good time shopping with my mum, and I'll never forget it. It's such a nice thing to do, such a simple, but for her it was like not a big deal. For me, it was just momentous. It was a momentous occasion. I'll always remember it with fondness, but also like nerves as well, because I was so nervous, right? Because I was like. I was breaking some kind of taboo, in my head. Mm-hmm. I knew that this was like a taboo. I can't. This is something I cannot do, because I knew how I looked. I knew how people would see me and stuff. And so a lot of the time I was kind of quite nervous and I was just like I want that one, and then she would go and pay for it or whatever. But I was only 17, but it was so nice. It was so cool.
My mum's taking me to get my nails done professionally for the first time next Thursday.
That's cool. So, that's really good. Yeah. Do you know what you're going to get? Do you know what colour and length? And are you going to get gel? You're going to put gel ones on? Or?
I don't know. I want to see what they suggest and stuff first. I know I like blacks and reds.
How are your nails? Have you managed to grow them out a little bit?
I broke one of them yesterday. So I kind of just evened them out a little bit since then.
Yeah, that's what
But I managed to leave them alone a little bit. I do tend to be a nail biter. I keep 2 of them short for reasons.
For obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. So that you can game better, because it's better on the gamepad if you've got short nails.
So, hi mum. There was one time when my mum asked me why only 2 of my nails were short, and at the time I said that it was easier to pick up screws when I was repairing things.
It's got something to do with screwing. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one, Mum, but yeah, that was a conversation we had once.
Oh my gosh, that's great. When parents ask why your particular nails are short, it's so funny. Maybe they do it on purpose. I think they probably do. I think they know exactly why our nails are that short, and they're just acting all innocent.
Still thought that.
It's a fun game.
What, that it was for... Wait, you still thought what? As in, like, that's what you thought at the time and you knew? Or as in, you only just realized this now?
On-stream revelations are happening in the chat.
It's also, like... It's a little bit of a signal and a dog whistle, too, right? If I'm out and about, yes. It lets some people know a thing that many people may not notice or realize. Only now? Okay. Yeah, she didn't realize that.
There's all sorts of things like that. It's amazing. Once you start to get into these kind of subcultures, you start to learn there's a lot of kind of these symbols. I met a guy who had a big pineapple on his arm, and I knew exactly what was going on there. He likes fruits. He likes pineapples. And that's it.
Don't know this one.
You don't know this one?
No.
It means that he's into swinging.
Oh, okay.
Upside down pineapples mean that he's a swinger. Yeah.
There's one I had to explain to my mum about somebody. She didn't realize why they were constantly wearing stuff with unicorns on.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what that one is.
Because they're like unicorns. No, I don't know. Go on. What is that?
So unicorns or unicorning is specifically like where you join in as a third for couples.
Oh, right. Yeah. I should know that. Okay. But I haven't actually got any tattoos, is the thing. I do currently have my name on my arm.
I do.
For reasons. What tattoos have you got?
I have two. I have Jack Skellington on my back, and I have the tree from the In Love and Death album by The Used. And that's from here all the way down to like here. So that's like most of my torso.
Oh,
and
wow.
Like a heart.
Yeah,
I've
cool.
got to be careful how much I show now because Twitch can ban me for showing my chest nowadays. I said a long time ago I wanted to stream topless every day when I started HRT, and when they banned me, I've made it.
No, this is a really good question, actually. It's a really good point in that what's the threshold? Because obviously, the day after you've started HRT, nothing's going to have changed, but if you're presenting as female, it's probably the whole combined thing. It's probably the presentation combined with obvious here, let me show you my breasts or whatever.
It is specifically defined by whether you present as a woman or not. So apparently trans men are totally fine.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's how you present. Although the definition of present is interesting because it's not how you identify, it's how you present. And
exactly.
That's kind of
so cross-dressers could do it, could get done.
I don't know, because are they using the word present with intent or like reception? Because reception's subjective. And I don't know how they're using that word. Like, is it how you are received that matters? I don't know.
It's really, it's a very grey area, isn't it? It's a very grey area, which is interesting. Do you know about the story of my breasts?
I don't, but please.
I'm going to tell you them. This is my moment. So I had augmentation in Istanbul, and that was in October 2022. But the wound under my left breast never properly healed. It was always open, and in actual fact, it actually sort of started to get worse. So because of I think the pressure from the implant kind of pressing down on the wound, it just meant that it was never going to close. So then I went back to Istanbul for a revision. In fact, I had 2 revisions, neither were successful. They stitched it up, but then then it burst open again. There was quite a lot of fluid. It was like a constant kind of just drip, drip, drip of fluid as my body was it was kind of reacting to the fact that there was an open wound. You could literally see the implant, through this wound. You could look at it and you could see it, and you're like, this is not good. So I came back from my most recent revision. It quickly kind of opened up again, and I went to the emergency kind of health place here in Oslo, and they said, okay, yeah, we need to take this out, and we need to do it now. So they took it out in May, and my body image is interesting, right? Because my body, my self confidence, my in my body and all this kind of stuff, it just plummeted. It just plummeted. It really dealt a huge blow to that whole thing. My confidence just generally. But I kind of built it back, and I'm now at the point. Actually, so even before Christmas, I'm now at the point where I will go to lesbian techno nights, and everyone will be topless, and I will be topless too, covered in glitter and stuff. Obviously, you gotta have glitter, but no clothes. It's very cool. It's really cool that I managed to get myself into that point. And it became the most natural thing in the world. And the most interesting thing is that most people don't notice, and most people don't care. If they notice, they don't care. And the only person who was caring was me. We got balloons. The only person who cared was me. It's so funny that I think that's the case for so many things. It's like we might be super aware of a flaw. It could be our nose, it could be our breast, it could be anything, right? Too tall, too short, too big shoulders, too whatever. But actually, just most people don't notice. People they won't dial in on a specific thing. They'll be like, they'll just look at the overall picture, yeah. And if the overall picture says I'm a woman, then that's it. They don't continue to question that. They probably barely even notice you in the first place, but if they do, then they'll be like, there's a woman, and then the second point is that even if you have something that's that's a bit out of place, like a breast or whatever, people don't care. It's because it's mostly just about your confidence and how you make them feel. If you are a fun, cool person to be around and all this kind of stuff, then that's what they'll notice. They won't notice any kind of minor flaw that you might be obsessed with. It's so incredible that our own body image, the way that we see ourselves in our mind, it so often bears no resemblance to either reality or how other people see us. And I think that's something that a lot of trans people particularly, but just women generally, and just maybe even just everyone sort of struggles with. Have you had any experience with that?
Yeah, bits and pieces.
I'm kind of touching on the whole point of dysphoria here. I'm kind of wondering how that's if that's something that's affected you, or if you've managed to get away with it, or what.
Yeah, there's definitely a few things that I've focused on. Like for me, one of them is I'm currently doing laser hair removal.
Sure.
And that's been going pretty well. But it's mostly done under here, which shows less. So I still get bothered by like seeing shadow on my top lip and stuff. And it's funny because like I tend not to wear much makeup because I have fairly sensitive skin. So it's literally like just eyeliner and lipstick, and that's all I tend to really do.
Oh, okay. You can get foundation and cover up things which are for sensitive skin as well.
Sure. It's just not something that I've like taken the time to mess around with yet and find what's right for me.
I really like foundation. I love foundation. That's why I don't look 48. Honestly, it's all foundation. You scrape it off, and there's like a raisin underneath it.
But yeah, it's just not something I've really gone into yet, and like that would probably help with some of that. But also, whenever I've talked to other people, like I have to really point it out for them to notice it. And to me, it stands out so much, you know? But it's also because I tend to be very close to myself in the mirror whenever there's a point where I notice it. And when I notice it is when it bothers me, and that's what the part that sticks. There's plenty of times where I look in the mirror and I can't notice it, but that doesn't stick so much.
Yeah, so you notice so when you have this negative experience, it makes an impression, whereas when you have more positive experiences, it kind of slides by, yeah?
Yeah. And it's funny because the positive experiences when how I'm viewing myself is probably at least more akin to how other people view me, which is like as the whole package.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whenever I'm able to do that and stop zooming in on specific features, I like what I see.
Cool.
You know, that kind of ties into like why I want to get into the gender specific therapy about surgery stuff, because I don't want to make a decision based on like a negative body image rather than like it just being the right thing for me. And I don't know where that is anymore because I spent sort of too long in one to know which is which.
So another suggestion I might have for you is, because I've only been on HRT for 6 months, I think a lot of this may just come down to just giving it time, you know? Because even though you may be kind of feel not sure about what you want to do with surgery going forward, it's possible that in a couple of years that answer will just sort of answer, it'll answer itself.
Yeah.
You won't even necessarily need to think about it. It won't be like this kind of project that you need to constantly think about or consider. You'll just wake up one day and think, you know what, I think I know what I need to do, and that will either be, yes or no. It's like it's completely up to you.
Yeah.
But things do. But I feel like things did kind of change gradually for me as I went through my transition. As far as my understanding of what I wanted and who I was, and who I and what kind of future I wanted for myself in that kind of regard. And also, I just want to say that I have no regrets whatsoever. It was, for me, it was absolutely the right decision. But I don't think it was a difficult decision either. I always kind of felt like it was probably the right one.
Yeah. For me, it's just whenever I've weighed it up, I don't see much clarity in it. Yeah. And that's what I kind of need on it, I think.
Okay, but but there's no rush, is what I would say.
No, it doesn't come up as a thought too often. I think, part of the contributing factor for why I'd want to, ask the question in therapy is because there is a waiting list. And that makes it kind of tricky for, I don't want to be into a position where I go, actually, okay, this is something that I really want, and then be stuck waiting for a period of time.
Yeah, no, that is an extra complication for sure. I totally get that. And it's such a shame because that adds that kind of artificial stress point, which it would be so nice to not have, because it means that people don't necessarily make the right decisions,
And it's again, one of those other external things that has an influence that I need to figure out. Yeah. So it's funny, I need therapy just for the way that the system works in many ways.
Exactly, just to deal with the stuff that they're doing already.
If engage with the system that is part of the problem too.
If they fix the system, they wouldn't need to do the therapy.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
No, so the decision was good for me, that's for sure. But I know a lot of trans women who don't, and they're perfectly happy with what they've got, and that's really cool. But also, so I did mine in Thailand, and the costs are reasonable. It wasn't ridiculous. And I stayed in Thailand for actually 2 months. They recommended 1 month, but I stayed for 2 because I just wanted to make sure that there was definitely no complications and I was in the right place if anything kind of went wrong. This was coming off my breast surgery, where I'd had the worst time, so I just wanted to make sure that I got it right this time. And yeah, living in Thailand for 2 months was actually, apart from the fact that it was really difficult because of the surgery and recovery and stuff, it was actually kind of an amazing experience. Being with all these other trans women, in the same hotel, because we all stay in the same hotel, and we basically take up half the hotel, and it's not a small hotel. Loads of us.
Which surgeon did you see, if you don't mind me asking?
This was Dr. Bank at the Supporn Clinic.
Okay.
And I think there's another doctor practicing there as well as Bank. It's not Sue Porn anymore. He's retired, but there's another. I can't remember her name, but there's a female doctor as well there now, a female surgeon, and she's apparently really good as well. They're both good. But yeah, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Being surrounded by all these amazing trans women who were all going through the same thing and meeting them every day for breakfast and going on little, trips and things with them and hanging out in each other's hotel rooms and getting completely baked on entirely legal edibles in Thailand was really, really fun. Although that's not advised, apparently. But I think a lot of the girls were doing things which were not advised, actually, thinking about it.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great time. And also, yeah, as I was saying, it wasn't that expensive. So, like, you could order food and have it delivered on a motorbike, on a moped to the hotel. And, like, it was so cheap. It was probably, thinking about UK prices, it was probably like a quarter. A quarter of the cost, I would say. Maybe even 20%.
Wild.
So, yeah, it was great. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So just something to think about. Like, obviously it is a big expense, but it means that you have the control. If that's
absolutely. Yeah, and also, like, the NHS is fairly limited on what types they will perform, right? Because there's many different ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. They will not give you. Sorry, I don't want to kind of spoil it for you, but they will not give you the Ferrari of vaginas. They will give you the Ford. It'll be the Ford of vaginas, and it's perfectly good. Ford's fine. Ford's a good cars, but when it's something so important, you might want to consider getting a really good thing if it's even possible. But there's often a way. My music stopped. Music's back. Just realised it was quiet.
By taking off wheat, there's a chance I'll remember somebody else's memory.
What?
It
Hold
could
on.
be very trippy.
Fina Colada's saying interesting things. What the hell are you talking about, Fina Colada? That's not a thing. That's not even possible. You can't remember someone else's memory. And also, Fina says I have the opposite thing where I feel like I look gorgeous in the mirror, then I get misgendered by random people. Okay, well, that's still rubbish, isn't it? I mean, it's nice to feel good about yourself in the mirror, but that's not nice that people misgender you. It's a thing for me. It's a thing for me. So this happens to you. You really believe that you're remembering someone else's memory. Without people saying anything about it. So you're literally able to say, hey, I remember when you did this or something. And they're like, I never told you this. And it's like, I know. That's an amazing magic trick at the party. I'm going to try a treat. So how long have I got you for now, Catriel? Do you need to go or something? Or
No.
No? Good.
No
treat, motherfucker.
Be...
That's good. I usually stream for around 3 hours. So if that's still okay for you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. As I was saying, I did have very little sleep last night, and I'm starting to kind of get a little bit tired. So I probably will go on for that much longer.
Okay.
But I was actually wondering about your education and how you managed to kind of go into using AI to create bots and things like that. But that wasn't your education. Yeah.
No, I'm self-taught on just about everything. Well, so I did take a very early IT diploma.
Okay.
But it was GCSE level. Cool. And that was technically worth like 7 GCSEs of just IT.
Oh wow,
but,
that's a lot of GCSEs.
I kind of, I burnt out during that school time really quickly. So it's like my first unit was A star, and then all the units afterwards were really low. Some of them weren't finished. I had to like do extra catch-up lessons to get it done, and then I just like scraped by with the qualification.
Is that because of gender things? Is that because of...
Oh, no, I wasn't. That was all just entirely repressed at that point in time. My God,
right.
No, I wasn't ready to deal with any of that yet.
Cool.
Nah, that was general mental health stuff. Probably like on some subconscious level, because it was also when puberty hit.
Yeah, yeah.
And like you're going through a puberty that don't match who you are, like that's certainly gonna do some stuff. But it wasn't really like on my mind much. It probably came up a couple of times, but it never stuck around for long. You know, I was trying to just survive being a teenager, I guess.
Can I tell you a little? Can I tell you a little story of my worst experience in puberty? Because and again, I knew, even though I knew, I just didn't think there was anything to be done about it. Right at the time, that was my knowledge. You know, there was just nothing to be done, and so I just had to, you know, just make the best of a really bad situation. But there was a specific time at school that I remember. There was a bunch of times which was awful, but this one time was the worst because it was in music lesson, and we were all supposed to sing. We were all supposed to sing a little thing, and so he was going around the room asking people to sing. And this was early on, so all the boys still had like the falsetto, well, not the falsetto, but you know, the high voices, you know. So they were all singing with the high voices. I can't remember what the musical term is, but you know. And then it came to me, and I started singing it in my normal unbroken boyish voice, and literally, you know, by the second or third line, my voice suddenly, broke, and it suddenly went and just went really bad, and I couldn't sing it at that kind of pitch anymore. So the whole room laughed, obviously, because they were kids. And I just wanted the ground to swallow me up and to take me away from that place forever, because it was soul destroying. I was so embarrassed. Being embarrassed as a child is kind of standard fare, but it had that extra edge because that was like one of the first instances where I knew that I was on this kind of, you know, runaway train from hell, you know, going in the wrong direction. And there was nothing I could do about it, and everything was just wrong. So there's a cheery little story for everyone. It wasn't easy going through puberty, being trans, high school, all that stuff. And I still think I'm probably genuinely traumatized from a lot of the experience that I had to go through. Sorry, have I put you? Have I got you down?
My voice break initially happened in 2 stages, and for the first stage, I sounded like salad fingers, and lots of people pointed that out to me. I don't know if you've ever heard of salad fingers.
I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't know how it sounds. Like, what's it
Definitely don't play it on stream.
Okay, no, I won't.
Don't
I won't do
play it
that.
on
Okay,
stream.
that's fine.
No, that's just because of what it is. You
I don't want
probably
to
can't show it on stream. But I think like when it dropped into the second stage, I was doing a lot of performing arts stuff. And because I was singing a lot, I think I managed to avoid a lot of the initial voice dysphoria because I managed to use it quite well for singing.
Okay.
So I felt quite positive about my voice in many ways because of that. And it was also like quite novel because I was also really short. I was one of the shortest kids in my year at school, shorter than like kids that were younger than me as well.
Wow. How tall are you now?
When my voice broke, like now I'm 5'7".
That's still kind of short. You are lucky. You are a lucky girl. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. That's very much in a female range of heights that you can be in the UK. Huh.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with my height now, but I used to be like a really, really short kid. I had a little bit of a growth spurt as I got into my teen years, but like the voice went before anything else. So I was really tiny, but I could sing like really deep bass. And yeah, that was kind of funny. And I think I like thrived off of the novelty of that for a while, you know?
Okay.
Which I think I still do to an extent every now and then. Even like no matter how far I go with voice training, I think if I can maintain being able to pull out a voice just for a laugh, even
it's really good. It's a really good party trick. I know a couple of girls who do that. Yeah, so they're voice trained and they've got really nice feminine voices, but they can still turn it off. The flip of a switch, actually. I had a girlfriend and she kept kind of coming up behind me and doing her old voice and like scaring me, just like there's no one else there. I knew she was there, but suddenly there'd be a man next to me. It would be so scary. It That's quite funny.
But a lot of what I was doing was streaming, was voice acting.
Oh, really?
So like the stream team that we started up, we were playing the game Monster Prom, and there's a lot of reading in that game, and not many voice lines. So we used to, pick the characters whilst we were playing, and we'd all do the voices for those characters.
Cool.
So it's no matter what I do, like with voice training, I do want to still maintain the ability to play a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And
that's also going to be really helpful. That's
singing.
actually going to help you as well, because you've had that kind of experience of doing voices and things. That's going to put you in perfect position to voice train and get the best out of it.
It seems to be the case. So like in my first voice training session, she said I picked up in like one round what takes people multiple sessions.
Awesome.
So she literally just like went over it twice, and on the second one I was like,
that's what we like to see.
Mimicking.
Have you done the thing with the straws yet? Have you done a straw thing with the glass and the water yet?
No.
No. Okay, that's really good. She'll probably whip that out at some point, but when she does, think about me.
Okay, I will. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's something that's kind of like carried over into my singing as well, is I tend to like sing in different voices, because I tend to sort of stylize it for whatever the tone of the song is too. Okay. So I don't tend to have like just one singing voice either.
I really miss being able to sing properly. I did VFS, so I had the surgery to feminize my voice.
Gotcha.
Which was, which is really good. I mean, it's made a huge difference. Obviously, I had a typically male kind of range, and now obviously I have like a typically female range. The only thing is it's difficult to get the volume. So in this kind of situation where this is my kind of normal speaking voice, it's fine. If I go to a nightclub or a noisy pub or some kind of noisy environment and I'm trying to interact with people, I do struggle to make myself heard. I was actually at a club night on Friday. It was a Valentine's Day kind of event in Oslo. It's a huge thing, a big LGBTQ thing. It was amazing and salt. Everyone was absolutely beautiful and killing it. It was amazing. Some of the costumes and outfits were incredible. I was standing in line for the women's toilets, and a woman kind of started talking to me, a beautiful woman, and we were talking for a while. And she was like, "So what's happened? Have you lost your voice?" And I was like, "No, I haven't lost my voice. This is this is just the way I sound. My voice is just like this." And we carried on talking because the queue was long for quite a while, and then it occurred to me. And because again, I always think that everyone knows, but it occurred to me that she had no idea I was trans, which was such a cool feeling. And because I think a lot of the time, again, trans women were really aware when we go in public that we're trans and we're sticking out like a sore thumb and all this kind of stuff. And there's just this kind of awareness that you got to get past. And the more you go out, the easier it becomes. But I've been presenting for quite a few years now, but I'm always not sure how other people see me. And this was a real kind of cool moment, because I was dressed like an angel, right? So I had angel wings and stuff. It was extremely gay, yeah. And then I was in a very LGBTQ environment. She was, I'm guessing, bisexual, possibly lesbian. I don't know. But if, of all people, in all its situations, this person couldn't clock that I was trans, I'm going to take that as a massive win. I was so pleased. I actually told her in the end, because I couldn't keep it a secret anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think that's the kind of thing that I'd like. I think it'd be brilliant. That's just something that is in your future, is what I'm saying to you. This is something that you're going to get. I know it's kind of scary that for you to leave the house right now. You're early in transition. Yeah. So I'm just trying to say that there's a lot of things that you got to look forward to, and one of the things is being able to properly project in a club environment, because if you don't have VFS and if you're just able to voice train, you'll actually get a very natural female sounding voice, I suspect. You're definitely on the road to getting that. and you'll also be able to continue to sing and also, be in noisy environments. And it'll be really good for you. So that's something that I didn't actually know that was a downside to having VFS at the time. I didn't know that I was going to lose that ability to kind of, create volume and like project my voice in that kind of way. Mm-hmm. If I had known, I probably would have still done it. But it would have been nice to know that.
Yeah, I'd done a bit of research into it myself and decided it wasn't something for me.
Yeah, sure.
And a lot of it was singing, and a lot of it was like being able to use my voice to express multiple different things. So I want to train to get like my day-to-day speaking voice in one place, but I don't want to lose that range.
No, yeah, totally. No, and you don't need to, because you're happy to voice train, and I think it's clearly going really well for you. So that's going to encourage you, and I just know that you're going to be there, and it's probably not going to take all that long. In probably less than 6 months. If we ever never guest stream again, I'm going to be talking to you and I'm going to be like, no, sorry, I thought I was going to stream with Catriel. Where's Catriel? I thought that, no.
I think it's just a case of building a habit with some direction from somebody who knows how to build the habit with something that's maintainable.
It's amazing how flexible our voices are, actually. They're amazing how we can really. Sorry, there's lots of shaking going on from the kitchen. It's amazing how we can train and learn new ways of doing things which we didn't think were even possible with our voices, but in many other ways as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna leave it there. We're probably gonna wrap up the stream, I think. But it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Catriel.
Yeah.
I hope you've had a nice time.
I have, yeah.
Good. What's your plans for the rest of the day?
Probably move around Discord a bit, see if anyone is online that I know. I think I'm gonna take it easy today because
sounds like a good
the whole last week coding.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy. I did a bit of coding this morning actually. I did a little bit because I'm a programmer as well, by the way. Isn't it weird how trans women are like brilliant computers? I don't really know.
Oh, the programmer socks meme.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
I don't tend to wear programmer socks when I'm coding, but
no,
but I do the coding. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to try wearing the socks. Maybe I'll get better at coding.
Maybe that will help. I don't know. That's the meme, isn't it? I can't remember what the reason is though. There's like they try to retroactively kind of create some kind of reason for it, but I don't think there is one. I'm going to just see if there's anyone we would like to raid. Because it's Sunday, it's 25 to 7 in CET. There's a couple of people on, but I think we're going to raid Melzelia. Because Mel is my friend, and we are going to make Lego together soon. I think we're going to make Lego... Gosh, when is it? It's probably it's in less than a month. I'm going to do a co-stream with Melzelia, and we are going to build some Lego together. So that's going to be really fun to watch, I think. Let me just set up this raid. Melzelia. There you go. Cool. So we're going to raid Melzelia. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've had a good time. I'm sorry we didn't really get through much of the chat because we were too busy chatting ourselves, weren't we? And it was very interesting.
Yeah,
but
fun,
it was really, really good fun. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been really nice. I'll see you all again probably Wednesday. What is it? Yeah, Sunday now. So I'll probably stream on Wednesday. Don't think I can do Thursday though because I'm going for some coffee dates. So have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you again, catch you up. Take care, everyone. Bye. And I think that's it.
Sweet.
I still see you there, so I'm going to stop the stream.
Yes.